Have you ever made a pinky promise with a friend? You lock your fingers together, look each other in the eye, and agree on something important. When someone breaks that kind of trust, it really hurts. Imagine a commitment so deep it fuses two sides together. In the ancient world, this was called a covenant, a serious, unbreakable bond meant to last a lifetime. God used these covenants to protect and love his people, but the bond required both sides to stay faithful. A prophet named Jeremiah lived inside the city of Jerusalem during a time when things were falling apart. The city was surrounded by the massive, powerful army of Babylon, and the people were terrified. Jerusalem was in this trouble because the people had stopped listening to God. They had completely walked away from their side of the promise. Tearing up their promise to God meant cutting the very ties that kept them safe. Without that relationship, the people lost their protection, left to face the coming storm alone. To try and fix things, King Zedekiah made a big public promise to God. He declared that the city would finally let all their Hebrew servants go free. The leaders and the people all agreed. They stood before God, made the covenant, and actually opened the gates to let the people go. But as soon as the servants were gone, the leaders changed their minds. They chased them down, dragged them back, and forced them into slavery all over again. God saw this immediate betrayal. He was deeply disappointed that the leaders would treat other human beings like property the moment keeping their word became inconvenient. Their actions proved that a promise is meaningless if you only keep it when it's easy. While the king was failing to keep his word, Jeremiah met a unique family called the Rechabites, who had moved into the city to hide from the war. Jeremiah tested their loyalty by offering them a drink of wine. To his surprise, the entire family refused. They explained that centuries earlier, their great-great-grandfather had set a strict family rule. They must never drink wine and must always live in tents, never in houses. For generations, every single person in the family had followed those rules perfectly. They were incredibly loyal to the memory of their ancestor. God used the Rechabites to teach the city a lesson. He pointed to them as a perfect example of loyalty. He wished his own people would listen to him with that much heart. The Rechabites proved that humans are capable of keeping a promise for centuries, which made Jerusalem's failure to stay faithful to their Creator even harder to watch. So, if the people keep breaking their promises, will God eventually give up and break his promise too? God gave Jeremiah a profound answer. Even when we fail, God is perfect, and he never, ever goes back on his word. He asked if anyone could stop the day from turning into night, or stop the sun from rising in the morning. Just as the sun rises every single day without fail, God's commitment to his people is a law of the universe that cannot be broken. He promised that despite their mistakes, he would one day bring healing and security back to the city. God spoke of a righteous branch, a new leader growing from King David's royal family tree. Where earlier kings lied and failed, this branch would stay perfectly faithful. Because this leader kept the promises humans couldn't, we recognize him today as the Savior, Jesus Christ. Unlike the rulers of Jeremiah's day who took back their word, this Savior would spend his life doing what is just and right. People may struggle to keep their word, but God's love doesn't change. His promises are as certain as the morning sun.